So, good afternoon. We're joined by Jan-Willem Roest of Paazl. Jan-Willem, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Matthijs.
Great to have you here at the Moderators Forum. You are currently the CEO at Paazl. And before that, you spent a good 10 years at PayPal as the, I think, country head is the formal title of the Benelux and Ireland, building up the business, joining early. And then a good year ago, made the move to Paazl, a logistics technology or logtech player.
Yeah.
Maybe you can tell us more on the on that market. Paazl is one of the growing number of logtech players. Tell us where that comes from, this growth.
Yeah, so maybe to put a little bit things in perspective, so what we really are is like we are the global player for, we have a platform for quality delivery and e-commerce. And we're talking about monetization here in your forum. If you would compare it to payments, we are, instead of a PSP, we are an SSP, and shipping service provider instead of a payment service provider. We are often referred to as the agent for shipping, to put things in perspective. So there's a lot of things actually that are happening in the market, and we see a correlation between what happened 10 years ago in payments compared what's happening now in shipping. 10 years ago, the payment landscape was disrupted by new players, whether it's for different wallets like whether it's PayPal, local payment methods like Ideal, Bank Contact, etc. And they were getting this, this piece from the big banks. It's the same what's happening right now in logistics. There were often there's per country or globally there are a couple of big players, and now the market's fully disrupted by new last mile heroes that promise better delivery, better customer experience, on time delivery, etc.
Okay, very interesting. We have seen shipments were tricky in the pandemic. What has or I think it was an eye opener for many people that it didn't work. It was seen as a given. So what has been, since you're quite in the middle of that, what has been the effect of the pandemic for Paazl?
It's a couple of elements that are important here. So if you take a bigger picture on what happened, is that we did 20 years over moving 17% of retail to e-tail, and we added 8% points in just 3 months when the pandemic started, right? So a quarter of total retail globally is now e-tail, which in just 3 months we added that 7% point, which has been incredible. So if you think about what people's expectations are, because consumer expectations are incredibly high at the moment, driven by companies like Amazon, for example, Coolblue in the Netherlands, and Bol, the capacity is just, it's difficult. We've seen it over Christmas and Sinterklaas and the holiday season. There is just not enough capacity to deliver on the promise in e-com at the moment. And that's been a massive pain point for all players.
And of course, there are various steps. It has to come, let's say, come to shore. So from China, but it could be for someone else, to Europe. And then, of course, the last mile. Very, very complex.
And the point is, what a lot of companies notice is that it was sufficient how they were delivering their products, and we see a different tendency happening in the market. Is that normally logistics and delivery has been part of warehouse and the supply chain manager, etc. While we see a shift over there, and we see that's getting more and more important in the checkout. So where we used to have payments where you had a choice, now people actually want to have a choice in delivery, because whether it's going to be a same day delivery, a next day delivery, it's a pay delivery. In the Netherlands, we don't have to pay for delivery, for example, while in other countries it's pretty common, with all due respect.
Yeah.
And those are things actually that are changing a lot at the moment.
So if I translate what you're saying, you could say it's become part of the customer experience, the whole delivery and paying, not paying. So you could say standard, premium. It becomes not only customer experience, it also becomes a differentiator.
It's a big differentiator, and while it's different to differentiate on price and product, right? Because everybody knows the products and knows the pricing. You go online and you can find the same product everywhere for different pricing, and on the different platforms and all the different marketplaces. They're just rising all the time, and so you choose on price and product is everywhere the same. But then it's about how do you get it delivered at the right time, at the right place, in the way you want to have it. And how can you, and it's a little bit of my payment background, and you want to pay it with the payment method of your preference, being protected, send it back for free or whatever, right? And I think that's what's happening right now, is that delivery is becoming a critical part of that checkout. So it's also now moving on their e-commerce. Well, it used to be, most of the time, it used to be in the warehouse managed, and say, all right, we have this order, and we decide with which company we ship it. While we see right now is that people actually, no, I need this today and I want to pay more for it. I want to have it delivered by bike, or I want to pick it up close to my work at a pickup point, for example.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very much part of the customer experience. And do you see a change or difference between brands? Because some of the other speakers in the forum are highlighting a lot of direct to consumer from brands, skipping marketplaces, skipping other channels, but going direct to consumer.
Yeah.
Do you see that change as well? And what observations there in terms of shipping choices?
Yeah. So we see a big trend in that market. We see a lot of big brands, that sell via retailers, whether it's offline or online. But they also want to be in direct contact with their customers, and they making, I think, also driven by the pandemic at the moment, a faster. They want to go fast to market with their own e-com channels. So we have globally big brands actually that work directly with us in order to help them with their supply chain and delivery getting sorted, etc. Because delivery and shipping is extremely complex and extremely expensive. And if you want to connect all those different methods yourself, right, it takes you a long time. And why should you if you can work with a global platform actually that can support you with all those different options?
So I guess in terms of the cost, that is a favorable input to your total cost of ownership perspective. I think I heard the number of the cost, the shipping costs, over 50% of those costs are related to the last mile.
Exactly. So, and that's something. So there's a couple of things that are related to cost. So it's, first of all, it's connecting the different delivery options, because there are many new companies on the market, whether it's the Budbees, the Packaly's, the Trunkers, and many more, the Homers. If you need to connect them all yourself in the front end and in the back end, it takes you time, right? And it's the same if you think about payments. In the past, you start integrating all those payment options yourself.
I was just going to say that exactly. It's a very familiar payment story. You're not a technology company. You're a You're an e-tailer. So work with a payment gateway. Yeah. So
we are the shipping gateway.
Shipping gateway. Yes.
Yeah. No, and that's exactly what it is. And I think we're at the forefront of a change in the market where everybody sees, all right, hey, e-commerce is here to stay, delivery is here to stay. We need to do better because capacity has been an issue of the last couple of months, right? So we have been seeing Black Friday levels since the beginning of March, right? So capacity has been a massive challenge for that. We've been operating at those levels since March, since the beginning of the pandemic. And it hasn't stopped since then. In summer, it went a bit down, but then shopping season kicked in again with Black Friday. And then, in the Netherlands with Sinterklaas and Christmas, it's been incredible.
Yeah, and of course, a lockdown again in many countries. So again, that drive to online or using the shop as a warehouse.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we have actually, the market and the pandemic has actually moved a lot of people that preferred shopping offline, have actually moved them online because it's a necessity right now, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think you were saying that whereas my order type of calls or inquiries are very costly, is that something you play a role in because you take care of a lot of the shipping?
Yeah, if you look at the total cost of ownership part of the whole story, it's a couple of things that we do. So it's first of all, it's in the checkout, you decide based on your preference with which company you want to have it delivered, and the company can decide it based on the cost. You can say, oh, now if it's only in the Netherlands, we only do PostNL, for example. If you want to have a sustainable one, it's free, or we plant a tree or whatever. So it's in the beginning in the checkout that you want to push people to the right option. Then you need to create the labels, and then it's track and trace. And in a track and trace, that's really important. So we get all the information from the carriers, and we provide it directly to the shop, which can use it then to inform their customers. But 50%, I was at a big fashion brand, and 50% of their customer support question is all about, where is my order?
Wow.
Yeah. And if you then have multiple different carriers you have integrated yourself, you need to log in all those different platforms, all those different carriers, in order to check where it is. Well, we provide our customers with a great overview over all these different options. Where are those orders?
Orders.
Yeah.
Yeah, 50% is huge. I mean, that's a target. Yeah, impressive. So we've spoken a lot of sort of domestic retail or e-tail. Cross-border, is that, do you also serve cross-border?
Yeah, well, I think that's the bread and butter of our business, right? So we prefer not to talk about e-commerce anymore, because it's commerce. It's wherever you are, whenever you are, you want to order something, you can do it, but it's offline, online, and that's the same, right? So e-com of commerce doesn't know any frontiers anymore, right? We have delivered in over 160, 170 countries last year for global brands like G-Star, Rituals, name them, Tag Heuer, Under Armour. They work with us because we can provide them with the relevant local delivery options. If you need to send something abroad, you also need a last mile hero locally, right?
Yeah, exactly. So again, actually, very strong parallel with the payments industry. Very cross-border in setup, but it all matters. You mentioned ideal, but every country has its local heroes.
Yeah, we work with a global watch brand like Tag Heuer, and they have, for example, their interest is to grow in Asia. And for example, in Japan, you need to work with a local delivery option, which is called Sagawa. So if you need to build this yourself, it takes you a lot of time, takes you a lot of effort. You can do this, which is fine, but you prefer to have it scalable, right? Because it's not only Japan. You also want to go to Australia. You want to go different countries. And why should you build it yourself? We can help you scale to multiple countries.
Exactly. It's not core business. You're a watch company or you're a luxury retail company. You're not an integration company. You're looking at go-to-market.
But the parallel, and I think that's the biggest learning for me, and that's why I liked it so much from moving from fintech to logtech, is that the parallel between payments. Like we are where payments is 10 years ago. I think we're at the forefront of a very important part, because the biggest challenge is right now, and it's the same as 10 years in payments. Payments was complex and expensive. And that changed over 10 years, right? It's accessible, it's quite affordable to everybody. You can go cross-border. It's exactly the same that we're doing right now with delivery. It's complex, it's expensive. People think, now I can do it myself, I can handle this. And now, there's more demand for customers, because customers want to have everywhere the Amazon feeling. It doesn't matter where, how, but you get it delivered the same day or next day. The same as Coolblue. The interesting part, why has Coolblue started their own delivery service? Because they felt that they were not served enough by the existing companies.
Yes.
If you want to do everything for a smile, which is the slogan, you better make it happen. And you don't want to be dependent on the last mile hero, which is also dependent on a lot of other stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. And then if that last mile guy does not have a smile, there goes your promise and the customer experience.
And then I think it's a fair comment that you make, because at the end, we can also not deliver that smile as a Paazl. We can help you deliver on the promise, But if the guy gets an accident or is not happy, right?
Yeah.
We cannot help with that.
No, but you deliver a lot of tools
to make it a bit easier.
To make it a bit easier. No pressure on the individual guy, but
no, exactly.
All right. So we also hear also in light of cross-border, but we hear a lot and see a lot of things like sustainability becoming a priority.
Yeah.
Do you see that as well, and do you see that as a differentiator?
It's a big differentiator. Although I think we just launched the Delivery Index 2020, where we also last year we did it this year. We have looked at the top 100 e-com companies in the Netherlands from Twinkle, and actually did a review of the delivery options. And what we actually see is that we preach a lot. We want to be sustainable, but what is sustainability, right? It's pretty difficult. So someone that's delivering it from, I live in Haarlem. If someone delivers something from a store by bike to my house, I think that's pretty sustainable.
Yeah.
If I don't ask for a same-day delivery, and I don't care when it's being delivered, and by the way, this person of this shop needs to be in my street anyway later this week, they predicted, that's also fine, because then you can do 2 deliveries in one ride. That's more sustainable, right? So I think those are things that are really important. But what we've noticed is that the number of same-day delivery options went down, and I think that's mainly COVID driven. On the other hand, what we see is a lot of pickup points actually have been used and make them free, and that's actually a great use of how you can become more sustainable, because the delivery company, actually the carrier, delivers multiple packages to one place where someone picks it up. And we cannot see if the person comes by car or by bike or by foot, but at the end we believe it's more sustainable. But everybody's preaching for more sustainable. On the other hand, nobody wants to pay for it, and everybody still wants to have the package as soon as possible, even if they don't need to send it.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's something, we can change something on the carrier side to have more sustainable delivery options. I 100% agree, but I also think there's a lot of responsibility on the consumer side to say, okay, do I really need this the next day, and why isn't it okay to get it next week?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Partnerships. How important are partnerships for you?
Yeah, I'm a big believer in partnerships. Also in my previous job within PayPal, I think you cannot grow your business by relevant partnerships, and we have relevant partnerships. I think Salesforce is a very strategic partner to us. We have a Salesforce extension that actually enables a lot of our Salesforce customers to work easily with us. We also have it with Magento, for example. But think about the agencies, that develop on the Salesforce Commerce Cloud. Is how do you prioritize, how you work on roadmaps, how do we make sure that delivery gets prioritized? But think about all the carriers that we're working with, right? So we work with all the big, whether it's PostNL, UPS, DHL, like an animal, but there are many new disruptors that are on the market that we're also working with. And we are an independent, right? We say, guys, hey, this is what it is. These are the options that we have, and we support our customers and the web shops with an assortment of carrier options. So we don't have a preference, but we need to work with them. And some are bigger and some are smaller, and we need to find the way that works the best from everybody. But hey, we're in this together. There's not one winner takes it all. And again, I'm a firm believer in partnerships.
Yeah, exactly. You mentioned you mentioned Salesforce. I noticed today that Packly, one of the new entrants, raised some funding. I think it's also an important partner in the sort of the last mile option.
Absolutely. So Packly, and among them are many more, like the Budbees and also the Trunkers. I know probably I've forgotten a lot of other ones, but those are the ones that are actually making a difference today in the market in that last mile. Hey, and they raised a great funding. They did a great funding round, and they're going to expand to multiple cities in the Netherlands. Imagine this is just in the Netherlands. Imagine what's happening in the UK and in Germany and France. It's at the bigger scale than it is here.
Well, and I think that underwrites that you can go to a new country, but then you open up a new can of both opportunities, but also these challenges. Yeah. So why a platform like Paazl is crucial in this growth.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we don't have them all either, right? We don't have them all on board either yet. But every day it's getting more easier for carriers to connect with us, because at the end, we can integrate them, but we prefer that they can connect easily with us, and then we open up our customer base to them.
Excellent. Yeah, very good. All right. I'm afraid we've come to the end of the time. It was great to catch up, Jan-Willem. Some wonderful insights. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. It's great to talk to you, and we'll talk soon. Good luck with the forum.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Have a great day. Cheers.